Well, here we have it. Another big win for Chelsea. Exactly what we needed. Exactly what we needed off the back of beating Liverpool. It is so beautiful to have Premier League football back, isn't it? We were desperate. We were desperate for the Premier League to return. Look, I like international football as much as the next man, but let's be totally honest, international football is not a match for Premier League football, and now we are back. We are back, and there is a crucial weekend about to ensue, and we are underway. Chelsea, in the least surprising news of the weekend, have battered Nottingham Forest. Ange Postecoglou, in the least surprising news of the weekend, has been beaten as Nottingham Forest manager. When will people start to finally understand that Ange Postecoglou is a dreadful manager? Like, that is the least controversial thing that you will ever hear. And do you know what? I quite like Nottingham Forest. I respect Nottingham Forest. I rate Nottingham Forest. I think they're a great club with a wonderful history. And they deserve so much more than Ange Postecoglou. Like, there seems to be this myth that Ange Postecoglou is a good manager. There seems to be this myth that Ange Postecoglou is capable of managing in the Premier League. And it is completely and utterly unjust, completely and utterly unacceptable that he has got this reputation. He's a woeful manager, an inept manager. He is undoubtedly the worst manager currently operating in the Premier League. And the sooner that Mr. Marinakis gets rid of him, the better. The sooner that Mr. Marinakis realises that it is over, absolutely over, for Ange Postecoglou, the better, because there is genuinely a chance that they go down with Postecoglou in charge. I mean, it's not an extreme thing to say. They are absolutely useless. And his future now at Forest, Postecoglou's future at Forest, quite simply has to be in serious doubt. He has only been there for just over a month. I think he's done 40 days, 39 days at the club, something like that. And somehow he is still... It's 8 games, 8 defeats. No manager at Nottingham Forest in the history of that club has ever got 0 wins out of the first 8 games. How can you possibly persevere with somebody like Postecoglou? I mean, it just is over. It's 8 games now. 8 games. We have battered them today. And you know what? On some level, they didn't play too badly, did they? They didn't play too badly in the first half. They were all right. But it's the same old story with Postecoglou. It's the same old story with set pieces. It's the same old story in terms of their predictability. And Marinakis, who was at the game, needs to make a decision here. Like, did you see that he'd left? And I saw that loads of Forest fans had left. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants Marinakis to leave. Nobody wants the Forest fans to be leaving early. Everybody wants Postecoglou out. Like, you know, some managers who I don't rate, I kind of go, do you know what? Like, they're good for the league, or they're good for the game, or they bring something special to the game, and the league is maybe a stronger place having them in it. Postecoglou brings nothing. You know this myth that he's a good guy, bloody good guy, Ange. It's nonsense. It is absolutely nonsense. Like, he's irritable, he's spiky, he can be outright rude, and ultimately he is so limited. So limited. Like, the fact that Marinakis left the game after an hour. Like, the director's box was empty on the 63rd minute. I'm looking at an image here of the director's box on the 63rd minute. Marinakis is gone. Surely that now means that it's over. Surely it means that he left on the 63rd minute in order to get rid. And I imagine that he has phoned Sean Dyche, like, immediately. I've just seen 68% of the chat here are saying that he needs to be sacked. Like, he left £120 million worth of summer signings completely out of the squad today. How can you possibly believe that Nottingham Forest are good enough to not include James McAtee? How can you possibly believe that Nottingham Forest are too good to include a player like Amari Hutchinson? Like, it is absolutely ridiculous. Like, he's just not the manager that he thinks he is. He's not the manager that people like to believe he is. So arrogant. You know, it's just over. But for us, it's a massive win. It is another massive win. We had to follow it up with a win. We had to follow that result up against Liverpool with a victory. And the fact that we have done that, we've moved into the top 4. Of course, we've played a game more than the likes of Man City, Bournemouth, Palace, and whoever else. But it's symbolic. Symbolic to be in the top 4. You know, 8 games in, the league table is starting to take some sort of shape. Like, you have to start paying attention to the league table now. And I do think, I really do, that we are going to be all right for top 4, top 5, however it works out. And Nottingham Forest are going to be relegated. They are going to be relegated unless they act now. They can bring in Sean Dyche. Can you believe that? Oh, that's a great question. That's a great comment. Sammy, why do you think he's arrogant? Have you met him? I think he's arrogant because of the way that he speaks in the media. No, I haven't met him. No, I haven't. There's loads of people I haven't met, but you can still make an educated judgment on their character. I think it's fair to say that Postecoglou's arrogant because of the way that he speaks, because of the way that he speaks about his achievements in the game, which, let's face it, are incredibly misleading. This whole "I guarantee a trophy in my third year, in my second year, I guarantee a trophy in my second year," limped his way to silverware, beating Bodo Glimt, the mighty Bodo Glimt in the semi-final, beating the worst Manchester United team of all time in the final, and nearly getting Tottenham relegated in the process. That is why we can call him arrogant. Have you seen the way that he talks to press officers? Have you seen the way that he responds to journalists when he's asked a perfectly legitimate question? Arrogant, rude, spiky, and inept. And the sooner that he's out of the Premier League, the better. I am really looking forward to the day that he is no longer in the Premier League. I think the Premier League will be a better place without Ange Postecoglou. This myth that seems to permeate football, that he is somehow a good guy, really good guy. And it just isn't true. Let's see what else is going on in this chat here. Thank you, by the way, to everybody for tuning in. Would you do me a favour, please? Would you like the stream? It really does help me out if you would be kind enough. Hadi Mahmood can't stand it, Ange either. Do you know what? It's not that I can't stand him, Hadi. It's just that, to be frank, it's just that I don't get it. I don't get, when you kind of think you're being gaslit to believing something that isn't true. He's not a good manager. He's not done a good job in the Premier League. His Tottenham team were a Rizzler paper away from being relegated. They fluked their way to silverware in Europe. And those things can happen. Like, do you know who one of Chelsea's worst ever managers is? One of the worst managers I've ever seen at Stamford Bridge. Avram Grant. Do you know what Avram Grant nearly did? Win a Champions League. If John Terry tucks that penalty away rather than slipping, and Avram Grant would have won European silverware. He would have won London's first ever European Cup. He's a terrible manager. Bad managers can have a bit of luck and be at the right place at the right time. Maurizio Sarri was a very average manager. Won European silverware with Chelsea. Rafael Benitez, not the manager that everyone thinks he is, average. Won European silverware at both Liverpool and Chelsea. Like, bad managers can do well. Is Amorim worse? That's a great question there from Matthew Finch. Is Amorim worse than Postecoglou? No. I mean, Postecoglou's got to be 60 as well. The defence that you could launch for Amorim would be that Amorim will learn, will get better, will improve, is on an upward curve, he's learning on the job. Manchester United, by some definition, is his first big job. And therefore, maybe he will become a better manager. Maybe he will learn how to be pragmatic. Maybe he will learn how to potentially do more. But overall, I think that Amorim is a far better manager than Postecoglou. I don't rate Amorim, but he's far better than Postecoglou. And this whole myth, and somebody said it here today. How can you say that he's arrogant? I'm like, even yesterday when there were rumours about his future, he says, "If you give me time, the story always ends the same way, with me and a trophy." I'll tell you what, Ange, the story does always end the same way. It ends with you losing at Forest. 8 games, no wins. I mean, it is just so average. I mean, there's just going to be... Hang on a minute. I am seeing news here. He's gone. Ange Postecoglou has been given the tic-tac live on air. We've just... Oh, my God. Nottingham Forest Football Club can confirm that after a series of disappointing results and performances, Ange Postecoglou has been relieved of his duties as head coach with immediate effect. The club will make no further comment at this time because there's nothing else to say. Congratulations to Nottingham Forest. Amazingly, you have lost 3-0, but today is a glorious day in your history. Congratulations to Nottingham Forest fans. You should see today as a brilliant day for your club because you have got rid of somebody that is inept, somebody that is woeful, and somebody that was damaging who you are. Under Ange Postecoglou, you were going down. Congratulations, Nottingham Forest. You are now not going down. It's underwhelming. You're going to bring in Sean Dyche. It's not particularly exciting. It's not particularly inspiring. It's not particularly beautiful. But you will not be relegated. The squad at that club are good enough to stay up. I can't believe it. Live on air. Ange Postecoglou given the tic-tac as we are live on air. Absolutely unbelievable. Club statement. I can't believe it. We're breaking news. We are breaking news on this very channel. Mate, it's He's gone. And it is absolutely the right decision. Ta-da, mate. Goodbye, mate. And yeah, I think he needs to go back to somewhere like the Yokohama Marinos or someone like that, like the Whittlesea Zebras. That's his level. That's the kind of club where he could maybe do the business. That's the kind of club where he can win silverware. That's the kind of club where he could maybe have some sort of an impact. There is absolutely no way that he is capable of keeping Nottingham Forest up. And that is what would happen. And everybody knows it. Mr. Marinakis has watched what happened today. He has sat there in the director's box. He watched the first half. He's probably quite happy with it. And maybe that first half would have kept Postecoglou in a job. But what happened? The Nottingham Forest players spend 15 minutes at half-time with Postecoglou and they come out with no idea. Guess what then happens? They concede goals off set pieces. What have we seen throughout Ange Postecoglou's career? Goals conceded at set pieces. Reece James pings it in off the back of what? An Esteval cross? Keeper all over the place, bang in the back of the net. How many times did Tottenham concede goals off the back of set pieces? It's just who we are, mate. It's just who we are, mate. 39 days he lasted at Nottingham Forest. A woeful 39 days. An embarrassing 39 days. Some of the worst performances that I have ever seen from Nottingham Forest. And Ange Postecoglou goes down. Congratulations. On some level, Ange, you have won more silverware. On some level, Ange, you have broken more records. Congratulations. Round of applause for someone as inept as Ange Postecoglou. He has actually stuck to his word and made history. 39 days is the shortest serving Premier League manager of all time. Well done. Round of applause for Big Ange, mate. Well done. You know, it's just who we are, mate. So ultimately, he has gone. And I think that Forest fans should be over the moon. Forest fans should be genuinely rejoicing today. Today is a better day for Nottingham Forest than they could possibly have imagined. It's very rare in football that you can lose 3-0 and go and celebrate. Very rare in football. I mean, it takes a very specific series of events to lose and celebrate. But today is a joyful day for Chelsea. But weirdly, it's a joyful day for Nottingham Forest. Those fans, those dedicated fans. Forest have fantastic fans. Garibaldi and all that. They are brilliant supporters. I've done my fair share of England away days, right? Forest always travel so well. They've got a dedicated, hardcore following. Really good support. And I like Forest. I certainly want Forest in the Premier League. I certainly believe that the Premier League is a better place having Nottingham Forest in it. So they 100% will survive now, and I want them to. They're a good club. They're a good, solid club with a good, solid history. And they are, to be frank, so much better than Ange Postecoglou. I mean, I can't believe it. How can he be done already? He must have been sacked in the dressing room. Like, do you know what it reminds me of? And it was a disgrace. But Carlo Ancelotti once got sacked in the tunnel at Goodison Park by Roman Abramovich. Is it that? Has he actually been done? I'm not a clown, mate. I'm not a clown. Well, 8 out of 8. The worst ever Nottingham Forest manager. No manager had ever managed Nottingham Forest for 8 games and not won for 8 games. No manager has ever been sacked off the back of only 39 days in charge. And what a pig's ear of it Mr. Marinakis has made. How you can go from a clinically proven good manager like Espirito Santo. Like, however good you think he is a good manager. He did very well at Wolves. There was a period where I honestly believed that Wolverhampton Wanderers were going to win European silverware under Espirito Santo. They sack Espirito Santo, who is a good manager. I appreciate that he shouldn't have been talking about the club in the way that he did. But they sacked a good manager and they replaced him with a proven dreadful manager. There's something beautiful about Chelsea being at the heart of Tottenham's Ange Postecoglou getting the sack. Something poetic. Something almost Shakespearean. It's wonderful, isn't it? It's truly wonderful. And I honestly believe that he is I think he is now finished in the Premier League. Nobody takes a punt on Ange Postecoglou, do they? Nearly relegating Tottenham Hotspur, nearly relegating Nottingham Forest. Okay. Look, you know, you beat the mighty Bodo Glimt in a semi-final. Fine. You beat Manchester United, the worst Manchester United team of all time. Fine. But my God, it is over. And it's good news. It really is good news for Forest fans. Let me see what people are saying about this. I can't believe that we've broken news live on air. It's so exciting. I feel like a news anchor. I'm like Anchorman. It's all going on at the same time. Huh? I wish I had an earpiece now. I would really play up to it. Right, let's see what people are saying. What Forest fans have got to be over the moon, right? What's going on in the chat here? What is going on? Right, somebody says, it's pathetic. Don't know what that's related to. Never seen a grown man so excited to see a manager sacked. Oh, really? This isn't as excited as I've been. I've been way more excited when other managers have been sacked. But I am quite pleased to see the back of Ange Postecoglou. To be frank, I don't like him. I don't really get the reputation that he has. Do you empathise with what I'm saying? And look, this is the beauty of this channel. This is why I love having these discussions with you. In my opinion, I'm going to give you my opinion on Postecoglou. You tell me if I'm wrong. In my opinion, he is frosty, he is rude, he is spiky, and he isn't very good. There is an arrogance to him that belies his talent, and therefore I am not particularly fond of him. Am I wrong? Do you believe that he is a good manager? Have I misjudged him by calling him arrogant? Do you believe that he isn't rude or isn't spiky or isn't prickly? I think that he has been so rude to journalists. The first super chat of the day has landed as well. It's from Semaj DeLeo, who says, the irony that such a bad manager broke the Tottenham curse. You can't write it. But these things happen, Samaj. These things happen. Like, I've seen bad managers win silverware. I've seen good managers, good players struggle to win silverware. I've seen very average goalkeepers become the best in the world. Remember Edouard Mendy? Edouard Mendy, at one period, he wins silverware at international level, silverware with Chelsea, European Cup, Club World Cup. Not a good goalie. Circumstance and timing has an impact. And Ange Postecoglou, credit's where it was due. But Levy sacked him. And Levy was right to sack him. And you look at Tottenham now. Tottenham are a shining example of what happens when you get rid of a bad manager and you appoint a good manager. It's so simple sometimes, football. You know, you've got people, these stat man and all that, right, who like to pretend that football's so complex and XG and Venn diagrams and pie charts. Sometimes football's really simple, right? If you appoint a serious manager, you become a serious football team. That's what happens. Go and get a good manager. And what did Tottenham do? They sacked a bad manager and they appointed a good manager. They sacked the bad manager Postecoglou and they appoint a proven good manager like Thomas Frank. And what's happened to Tottenham since then? Moving on up. Looking like serious contenders for Champions League football via league position. I believe that Thomas Frank is well capable of winning silverware. NFFC, a Nottingham Forest fan, has just landed in the super chat and says, thank you, Chelsea. You are welcome. See, this is one of those weird occasions. I mentioned this before. And congratulations to you. Congratulations to us. We win 3-0. Congratulations to you. You get a terrible manager out of your football club. Everyone's a winner, baby. Yeah, oh man, they've sacked him. You've got to rate Mr. Marinakis here, you know. You've got to rate Mr. Marinakis because he didn't dawdle. He didn't persevere with his own. He didn't persevere with his own agenda. He didn't persevere with his own arrogance. He appointed Postecoglou. Some would argue that it reflects badly on him to sack. Some would argue that it reflects badly on Mr. Marinakis to sack Postecoglou. Sometimes you want to back your man. You need your man to succeed. You need your way to work. You need your vision to be secured. But whatever you think of Mr. Marinakis, what you cannot deny, he wants what's best for Nottingham Forest. He wants the furtherance of Nottingham Forest. And he won't let his own ego stand in the way. He appointed a bad manager and he has recognised that he made a mistake. And only 39 days later, he's put it right. He's put it right. He has said, I've got it wrong. I apologise. And I'm going to put it right. Because Nottingham Forest come first. And he could tell that under Postecoglou, mate, they were never going to win a game. They were literally never, ever going to win again. Played 8-0 wins. At what point do you draw the line, if not now? What are you going to do? Persevere? Persevere with a bad manager? Go another 2 games? Play 10, no wins. Play 12, no wins. Suddenly, what happens in the league? Suddenly, what happens? Wolverhampton Wanderers pick up a couple of wins. They're above you. Suddenly, what happens in the league? Burnley, Scott Parker finds a win. They're above you. And if there is a support base in the entire world that knows about the pitfalls of relegation, it's Nottingham Forest fans. Trust me, if you were a decade or 2 decades older, you would know Nottingham Forest as a team that are established in the Premier League. That team, when I was a kid, Stan Collymore, Pierre Van Hooijdonk, Chris Bart-Williams, Ian Woan, Lars Bohinen, they were a brilliant team and they belonged in the Premier League. Their support belongs in the Premier League. Their history belongs in the Premier League. Suddenly, they're relegated, bang, they're cast adrift for 25 years. There is an entire generation of football fans that do not know Nottingham Forest as a Premier League team. Postecoglou was about to take them back to that. Postecoglou was about to have that team, that history, that support, Brian Clough and all of that. They're in Europe. He was going to have that team suddenly competing in the Championship again. And it is important to recognise who Nottingham Forest are. You know, Nottingham Forest are the only team in Europe, I believe, you'll have to check this, but Nottingham Forest are the only team in Europe to have won their domestic league only once, but the European Cup twice. It's an amazing record, don't you think? So they get promoted to the Premier League. This is the amazing thing, right? Leicester and Nottingham, big rivals, right? Midland rivals, big football rivals. I think Leicester's achievement, winning the Premier League, Vardy and all that, was amazing. But just listen to what Forest did. They're in the second division, the old second division. They get promoted to the first division. They win it. They win the league, right? They then go into the European Cup because they win the league, and they win the European Cup. They don't win the league again. They then enter the European Cup because they're holders, and they retain it. What history, what prestige. You know when you've got these nonsense clubs like Bournemouth and Brighton and all this crap. Forest are a proper club with proper history that belong in the Premier League. Great support, great stadium. And Postecoglou was going to take them down. Postecoglou was going to have them back in the Championship. It could be another 25 years before they come back. So it is great news for the Football League. It is great news for the Premier League. Postecoglou is done. And now I just can't see a world where Postecoglou will ever manage in the Premier League again. Like, sacking Postecoglou is the best thing that has happened on Nottingham Forest apart from promotion in the last 30 years. The best thing that has ever happened to that club in the past 30 years, apart from getting back to the Premier League, is sacking Postecoglou. Today, congratulations to any Nottingham Forest fans who are watching this. Like, you heard the Forest fans in the stadium singing at him, "You don't know what you're doing." You know, when he substituted, who is it? Dougie Luiz. Takes Dougie Luiz off. The Forest fans are like, "What is going on? What are you doing? This is ridiculous." And they were right. How can you possibly have a situation, Postecoglou? Anyone that tries to tell me this geezer knows what he's doing, he's leaving Amari Hutchinson out of the squad. James McAtee playing for Pep Guardiola's not good enough to play for Ange Postecoglou. This geezer is a clown. You know when he talks, "I'm not a clown, mate." Do you think I do a good Aussie accent? What do you reckon? "Not a clown, mate." I'm quite good at it, aren't I? Didn't realise. Mate, I'm the gift that keeps giving. I've got skills. Skills I didn't even realise. "I'm not a clown, mate." When he said that, you're like, hang on a minute, you absolutely are. Like, do you know what? In terms of like the footballing definition of a clown, it is Postecoglou. The way that he talks to the media, the arrogance of the man, the average performances week in, week out, the lack of ability to defend silverware, to defend set pieces, the team selection, the high line when you don't have the players to play the high line, giving away leads. You know, 2-0 up against Chelsea last year. 2-0 up and get battered at home. Like, the geezer don't know what day it is, man. Like, absolutely useless. Like, and what did they do? 1 goal in 5. You know, they're meant to be this, like, attacking. They've gone out of the cup. They're meant to be this attacking unit. They're meant to be this, like, you know, Postecoglou, he loves to win games 4-3. They scored 1 goal in 5. Useless. Absolutely useless. Can I ask you, by the way, I need a big favour. I am currently 7 subscribers away from moving from 364,000 to 365,000. If there are 7 of you who are not subscribed that are watching this, you could nudge me to the promised land right now. And while you're doing that, would you please like the stream? I love going live like this. I love having these conversations with you. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. So if you could like the stream, it will help me find more people to talk to. Let me dive into the chat and see what you're all saying. Total rubbish. Pep does adapt. Yeah, I completely agree. Pep does adapt. Have I said that he didn't? I don't believe I have. Ange tactically useless, says Amson. Yeah, completely agree. I'm not subscribing, lad, says Andrea. That's heartbreaking. I'm heartbroken. But of course, your choice. What can I possibly say? He won the game today on XG, says Jake Lack. Do you know these people? Where do you lot sit on this? You know, give me your thoughts on this. The XG debate. Like, I appreciate that on some level there's a place for it in the game or whatever else. But let us be totally and utterly honest, right? What on earth are we doing? You know when you've got managers who kind of take pride, Graham Potters of this world, take pride in the XG stats, take pride in the possession stats, take pride in anything that isn't a result. And that is what's going to happen now. Do you know what Mr. Marinakis will do? He will look at what's happening. He will look at what Mr. Postecoglou has done, and he will go, "Do you know what? Not you anymore. It's time for Mr. Dyche." They are going Dyche ball. They are going in the deep end. with Dyche ball. That is what is going to happen here. I tell you what, the shortest Premier League reigns, 39 games, Ange Postecoglou, he's won it again. He's got another record. He broke Tottenham's duck, and he is now officially the worst manager ever. Do you know who was second worst? Les Reed at Charlton. Who remembers Les Reed? Not many of you. Les Reed at Charlton. Rennie Mullenstein at Fulham. Lasted a bit longer. After that, come on. Anyone got it? I'll give you a clue. Crystal Palace and Dutch. First comment to get it. Crystal Palace and Dutch. Who's going to be the main man? Crystal Palace and Dutch. Lasted 4 games, 77 days. Who's going to get it? Crystal Palace, Dutch manager, who lasted only 74 days. Who is the 4th worst manager in terms of time that they made it? Nobody's got it. Shall I just tell you? Shall I tell you? Or do you give up? Do you give up? Does anyone know? De Boer, there you go. DM McDonald, you win a Haribo. Congratulations. Yeah, this is the company now. This is the company that he is in. You're looking at Nathan Jones. Nathan Jones at Southampton. This is the company that Postecoglou is in. And this is where I think he belongs. Like, when you're talking about where Postecoglou should go or who Postecoglou is, you need to be comparing Ange Postecoglou to the likes of Les Reed, Frank de Boer, Bob Bradley. Oh, God, do you remember that Quique Sanchez Flores at Watford? Wow. Do you remember that? And Nathan Jones. That is where we are talking now. That is who he is. You know when he goes, it's just who we are, mate. Just who we are, mate. This is who he is. He's a manager who is now comparable to Les Reed, Rennie Mullenstein, Frank de Boer, Bob Bradley, Quique Sanchez Flores, Nathan Jones. They are his crew. They're his crew and his gang. Pyro Mini-Yak says, we no longer have to deal with the Ange loyalists insisting that this dreadful stuff that he served up isn't actually dreadful. Yeah, I mean, I kind of know what you mean by that, the Pyro, right? I kind of know what you mean. You know when you know what's happened and you listen to a manager talk about it and you're like, hang on, I watched the game. You were rubbish. And then the manager talks about it in the press conference and he actually somehow manages to pretend that they were good. It's like, wait, what? I've just watched you. You were rubbish. You didn't dominate. You didn't ask loads of questions. You didn't give the opposition something to worry about. But they pretend that they did. There are loads of managers that do that. They kind of gaslight you into believing something that didn't even happen. Great to see you, Pyro. Thank you for your super chat. Ryan James in the super chat says, do you think United should be playing 4-3-3? Totally off topic, but I think they should be playing whatever system works for the opposition. You should look at the opposition. You should work out a way of beating them. You should adopt the Jose Mourinho, Carlo Ancelotti philosophy, which is win. Win at all costs. All of this dedication to philosophy, dedication to system, it makes you a bad manager. If you cannot be pragmatic and work out a way of winning games of football, you are categorically a bad manager. The very best amend their system. The very best. So you know when Ange Postecoglou comes out and he goes, that's just who we are, mate. We're not malleable. This is who we are. This is the way we play. And you're like, okay, who do you think you are? Because Sir Alex Ferguson, whose team played 4-4-2, when they went away to Galatasaray at the Ataturk in the Champions League, what would they do? They would play 5 in midfield, 1 up front. So they would play a different system for a particular opposition because they know how difficult it is and they know that you have to be malleable. Pep Guardiola, what does he do? It sometimes goes long. Sometimes goes long to Haaland. Sometimes puts 4 at the back, 5 at the back. We saw it recently against Arsenal. Be pragmatic. You've got managers like Guardiola and Ferguson, the best who have ever done it, who are pragmatic. You've got managers like Amorim and Postecoglou, who are 2 of the worst managers that the Premier League has ever had and 2 of the worst managers that their clubs have ever had, telling you that they won't do it. I don't get it. Your job as a manager is to work out a way to win, not work out a philosophy, mate. What do you think you are? Nietzsche? Ridiculous. V in the super chat says, Ange made Enzo look like Pep today. Keep it classy, Rory. I can't do that. I can't. That ship sailed. I wish I could. I wish I could be classy. I'm not, I can't do that. It's very, very difficult. But I do massively appreciate your super chat and your support of the channel hugely. Ange made Enzo look like Pep Guardiola. Do you know what's interesting? I thought Forest were quite good in the first half. Asked a lot of questions, but they were so bad in the second half. So bad. They came out after half time. What did they concede? 2 goals in 8 minutes. Made it very easy for us. Then the goal from the set piece, Esteval's corner. You're like, mate, what are you doing? Just not good enough. DOS 007 says, I'm feeling for Ange. Maybe it's my Australian, maybe not. But Mr. Marinakis can sod off as well as Daniel Levy. You Australia. What, is he popular in Australia? Do any Australians watching? What time is it in Australia, by the way? It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon here. What time is it in Australia? Are you loving, is he popular there? Mate, I just don't think he is nowhere near. Like, when I think about like the best Australian footballers ever, you're looking at Harry Kewell, you're looking at Mark Viduka, the best Australian football exports. I can name 10 easily before I come to Postecoglou. 10 easily. I didn't realise that you loved him. But yeah, it's amazing that he's gone. The Tottenham Way has just landed in the super chat and has said, I adore Ange, but he was so out of his depth. I completely agree. So out of his depth. It's unreal. Like, he's not a Premier League manager. He will go again and win silverware at the Yokohama Marinos or the Whittlesea Zebras. But he's a terrible manager. But today is a good day for Chelsea. Secured the 3 points, scored 3 goals away from home. Someone sent off, not ideal again. 5 sending offs now, if you include Maresca. So that's not ideal. But anyway, 3 points, 3 goals away from home. Good day for Chelsea. Great day for Forest. They've got rid of an inept manager. Always a good day when you get rid of an inept manager. But weirdly, an excellent day for Ange Postecoglou. It's an excellent day for Ange Postecoglou because he is going to have the entirety of his contract paid out. £5 million a year for 2 years, £10 million for 39 days' work. £10 million for 39 days' work. I tell you what, that is unbelievable. That is unbelievable. 10 million quid for 39 days' work. Lachlan says he feels for Morgan Gibbs-White. Yeah, I mean, Gibbs-White must be thinking, God, he could have been part of this Tottenham team. And his Tottenham team look great, don't they? Like, you know, Tottenham are going to have a good season. They got a brilliant manager. Playing with Palinia is, I mean, yeah. You are right, Lachlan. You really are. Saptarshi Banerjee. What a cool name. Pep and Klopp didn't change system for the longest time. Yeah, I mean, they did what they had to do, though. Their system was making them accrue 97, 98 points. So, yeah, they didn't change a winning system. But when the system stopped winning, they changed it. Of course they did. Guardiola's proved it here. Ashish Alam says, Aussie here, Rory. He's bang average, mate. Do I do good, Aussie? Ashish, am I good at this? Ready? I'm going to read your super chat just like you. Are you ready for this? This is going to be like you listening to your own self being recorded. Aussie here, mate. Aussie here, Rory. He's bang average, mate. So glad he's gone. Can't stand sports glaze him. It's Lamb, BTW. I'm so Aussie, it's unbelievable. I'm so good at Aussie accents. I never knew that until I started doing my... I'm not a clown, mate. Until I started doing that, I didn't realise I could do Aussie so well. Turns out, mate, I could have easily... If I told you I was born in Perth or Adelaide, you'd be like, wow, this geezer's born in Adelaide. Turns out I'm amazing. Someone's terrible accent. That's not true. It's just shocking, Rory. What? Mate, I'm going to... Listen. Aussie here, Rory. He's bang average, mate. So glad he's gone. Can't stand sports glaze him. It's Lamb, BTW. I'm so good at that, man. It's unreal. Who knew? Who knew that I could do that? But the bottom line is, Postecoglou is gone. Postecoglou is out of here. Postecoglou is history. He's a very rich man, but he's flopped. He's a very, very rich man that is ultimately surplus to requirements. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. Would you do me a favour? If you haven't yet clicked subscribe, would you please consider joining this community? I would love to welcome you into it. It really helps me out. If you would click that subscriber button, please join. I'm going to be going live loads this season, so I would love for you to be part of it. Appreciate the back and forth. Love hearing what you have to say. Thank you for your contributions to the channel. The comments, you've educated me. I've educated you with my beautiful accent, and I wish you a wonderful day. In a bit. Ta-da!